Hi. In this video, you will learn how to use material in a Verse UI and control its parameters directly from Verse. Secondly, I will demonstrate how to write Verse logic to control objective device, and in this case bet, which will work same as in a bet Verse. In this case, I will mainly focus on the Verse UI side of it, so each player will get assigned bet and all players will see bet UI. And lastly, I will show how to add shield functionality to the bet, while objective device doesn't have shield logic by default. Before starting tutorial, I would like to mention that if you're interested in source files from my videos, you can find them on my Patreon, link in the description of the video. Feel free as well to support us by following Gallows Games on Fortnite.com. And now, let's begin. Let's start with material. So, material, progress bar. Now let's create two material instances. So in main material, we will create logic only for one progress bar, but then we will use same logic for health and shield because it's pretty much same thing. Don't have anything experimental, but it looks like after this update, again, receiving some errors. Okay, so first thing, let's set it to user interface and translucent. Then let's add, and by the way, if you wonder like what shortcut I'm using, we have to add these nodes. So then in here in the left bottom corner, you can see my shortcut. Okay, so this one, let's call it progress. And I will create, but I will do it later, create parameter with damage. So now we need texture coordinates and we need step. Then in here, we need component mask and it will be R. So basically R it means horizontal, G means vertical. The progress bar is horizontal, so that's why we need R. Now this one goes into Y and this one goes into X. If we will connect this into opacity, maybe we will see anything. Let's add white color here. Actually here we need, yeah, there we go. So it's basically how steps works. It's basically between 0 and 1. So because I'm not creating any shape, this will be like a whole UV space. But then we will adjust the shape inside of the UI. But basically you can see that when it's close to 0, it's small, and then when it's 0, it disappears. And then when it's 1, it stops. And that's it. So this is our progress bar, like simple one. And yeah, before adding damage, let's add color support so then we can easier see this. So let's create color parameter. So this will be maybe damage color. Let's set it to red. Later in material instance, you can adjust it as you like. Then we need second one. And this will be like our normal progress color. By default, maybe we can set it to green. For the shield, we will change it to. Actually, let's add another one. And this will be our background. And this is not a background which goes around this. No, it's basically, you see, like when we're now reducing this progress, we see only black. And our this surrounding is black. So that's why like we don't see actually progress bar. We see only this white, like big and smaller. And this background, it's actually will be like where it's still silhouette of the progress bar, but basically in which area it's not filled. So I will set it to something like gray. So let's start with this blending. So we need two labs, basically this and for background color. So this goes into A, this goes into B. And then we will need our mask, but not this one progress bar, will be with damage. Okay, and now we can add another lerp. So this will go into B, this will go into A. Now this one actually can go directly in here. Now if I will connect now into color, we will see only this color because again, we're not mixing this. It's basically using both colors, like because it's 0.5. So now for damage, and in a second I will explain what that even means. So we will use another step. We can directly now connect in there. And in here we need subtract this damage, and we need this progress, like so. Now this will go into Y, and again our this horizontal mask, sorry, horizontal mask goes there. Now this a little bit different. You can see what's going on in there already. So another lerp here, and the parameter, it will be background opacity, and by default I will set maybe like 0.3. And this is our progress opacity, and will be 1. If you don't want to control at some point it, you can just like directly set here in A and B, make it persistent. Now from here, we will connect it into this alpha. So now let's make it more like visible properly. Okay, and later on I will need for my functionality to control, do I want to show progress bar or I don't. This is pretty much for shield only. Hilt will be visible all the time, but because we're using same logic for both, I will add it here, and it's super simple. It's just multiplication by scalar parameter, and it will be just show progress like so. So when we don't want to show progress, we're multiplying by 0, it will become dark. That's it, 0, right? But if we want to show, we will multiply by 1, and then it will show. Okay, I will leave default 1, and now we can connect that. That's it. And I think we're pretty much done here. Now let's make some cleanup. Should be fine. Go away. Yeah, let's set progress on 1 by default. Yeah, oh, I forgot to show basically damage. So how damage will work? So from the verse, first we will set damage amount. It will go as well between 0 and 1. So let's say our damage is 0.2, and you can see that we have our damage. And then from the verse on the loop, we will reduce this damage to the 0 while actually subtracting now this damage from our progress. And it will look that green, it's actually stands still, but it's removing this red. And it will be so fast. You won't even like see this, but it's just like nice functionality to have. So for example, then it will be 0.8 and this will be 0. And as you can see, it will look like that. Okay, so this is done. Now let's just open our shield to change our color. So progress color, and let's set it to something like that. Now, before starting verse, let's prepare our this let's prepare the widget UI just to see parameters, what basically like values we need to use in our verse UI, because in verse UI it's pure code, we can't preview this, but in here we can, so it's super useful. So it will be just let's call it bet UI, and then we will have another one will be our main UI. Okay, and actually I forgot, I need to add icon. Let's for me to grab it. So this icon is from Fortnite GG. You want to grab it, and because it's not power of 2, it's already like switched off meep maps, but I actually can do this like stretch to power of 2. Now it's power of 2, it's good. Then I will set maybe 256, maybe even 128 would work, but 256 is fine. I'm still don't want meep maps. Let's set it to UI and disable streaming. Basically, we need to remove any optimization, because this optimization is for the world, right? Like for if camera is far away, let's say from the object, you don't want to use full resolution texture because it's a waste. But when it's on the screen, it's always full resolution. You don't want any this kind of stuff because it still takes more memory because it needs to duplicate your texture. So it will be like bet icon. Okay. So now let's open our bat UI. And in here, I will use actually not canvas, not overlay, but directly stackbox. It will look a little bit different first, but be with me. This is mainly because in the verse, I will do same way. So then I want to see exactly how it will look like what I will do in verse UI. So we have stackbox. Because now kind of like in the root, we don't have much parameters in here. So no alignment, no like anything, just only like, is it horizontal or is it vertical? And in this case, let me see, it will be horizontal. Yes. So now let's drop our texture. Okay. And I already know my parameters, so I will be just copying them. So on the left, I want 10. Then it's totally fine, it's filled. Then I want for the size 60 by 60. And I want change a little bit scale, so it will be 1.2 and here 1.35. Okay, I think that's it on every single time. Now I want another stack box, and in here it will be as well. Wait, on the left, yeah, on the left, 10. Then all that it's fine. Then it's will be like vertical. It's basically will control shield and health progress bar because they goes one above another. So then it will be vertical, and yeah, that's it. So now let's add 2 images. And even call them. So it's shield, health. For the shield, let's select shield and there, and then health and health. Okay. Now let's tweak them. So for the shield, let's on the top have 8. Then I think maybe this by default feel a bit boring, but I will set it to center. Then for the size, I need size 260 by 10. Okay. Then that's fine. Fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. So now for the health, it will be below it. So on the top will be 7. This as well will be center, center. Yeah, you can see. And it's same size horizontally, but then it will be 23 in thickness. So basically, health bar will be thicker than shield, like that. And that's everything totally fine. And by the way, but I'm not using this anyways, but if you would use widget, then as you can see, image by default, it's set to visible, but you always need to set it to no heat testable. Especially where you have buttons. Okay, so we have that. And then again, because now this tag box tries to mimic whole screen resolution, so that's why everything is stretched. But now if I will put it close to where it should be, this is pretty much how it will look. Yep, totally fine. Because basically what I will do now, I will take now this and add it to my main UI. So in main UI, I need canvas. It's my canvas. And then I want stack box, actually 2 stack boxes. Yeah, they will have like same parameters pretty much. Okay, so in this stack box, I want anchor to the right, then 0, 0, size to content, then it will be 1 and 0.5. So size doesn't matter because I checked in size to content. Basically, whatever will be in there, it will stretch to that. And we want vertical, not horizontal. It will go basically it will have all the beds down like so. But instead of bed, it will be just color. So, and let's see. Oh yeah, let's here for the Y. Let's add -150, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. So it's pretty much same for this one. So -150. Anchor on the right. I should do that first. Now again, -150. There is 0. There is 1. There is 0.5. And vertical. Okay. So now where we have image, for the image, I want no padding. This doesn't matter at all. Oh, I think I can keep it this way. We'll see. Then there's no image. For the size, it will be slightly bigger. So basically it's background. So it's 350, then 60. Yep. Then I will make it dark or even black, like 0.5 transparency, like so. Okay. And yep, that's it. Then I just need to see, so maybe like create 4 copies. Yeah, so it will look like that. Now in this one, it's pretty much same, but I don't want it to touch here on the right. So I will do -7 on basically on the horizontally on X. Okay, the rest is same. Yep. So now you can see here. So basically you can find a user created. So you can see my bad UI. So I can just drop it there and see how it's already looking. And in here, I don't need anything. Yeah. And it's filled like so. Yeah. Later I will need it to the right, but I will explain later. But it will look now perfectly fine as is. So now, for example, if I will create 4 copies, and that's it. So this is our UI. So you can see that this is our screen, and this is how that would look. Totally fine. So now we have all our parameters. Yeah, so we can now get all these numbers, what we need. And this is pretty much how you do Verse UI. You're first doing it in the widget UI, so then you know your parameters, yeah, like you play with these values, you know all that, and then you're starting coding. We can keep that, and now let's code. Let's just build Verse code. When you created something new, and we created this material, which we need in Verse UI, then you need to build Verse code. So then in the Verse, in assets, it will be reflected. So then you can see it. Verse Explorer. Okay. Where is my folder? I don't know if I will see that folder in here. Probably I hide empty directories. I don't need to hide. I want to see it. There it is. But worse. So you probably want to have all your code in like some special like verse code folder, right? For basically clean project management. In my case, because I'm sharing always these files, so I'm trying to keep always everything in one folder. So that's why. So don't copy me in this. Yeah. So do your way better. So create new verse file, verse device. Let's call it maybe teams bed manager. Create. Just in case, let's build it. And I have my Visual Studio open already. So I should find it here. So that's Verse UI. There is my device. Okay, let's remove all that. This. So actually, maybe better to name it device. Usually when it's a creative device, we're adding device at the back like of the name. So then it's clear that this is device used in the level or it's just some logic inside your project. And maybe I will rename it in here as well. Let's just in case code. Yep, no errors. Good. Okay. We will have multiple classes in here. So this is mainly so we can control everything in own place and make it look readable and clean. So, but first we need, yeah, let's leave this one first. Let's create straight away another class. And this class, it will be our, this bed basically data like, so, and by the way, I'm calling it bed because I'm doing it for the bed, but this is objective device. You can call it objective device. You can use this with objective device because maybe instead of bed, it will be something different. So name it as you like. So bed, maybe just, oops, maybe just bed data. Okay, then will be public. Okay, I will leave it as is. But okay, so we have this, then we need class, and it will be our class, then it will be our concrete. So what concrete means is basically all the variables should be already initialized, so like something in it. So let's start with editable, theme color, colors, and we need our bed. Then initial health. I'm calling it initial health because it's not in this tutorial, but maybe in your case, later on, a player can, I don't know, like buy some extra health. So then your maximum health will increase. So this one, it only gives that initial health. So it will be float. And let's start with here, 100. Oops. It should be editable. I will name it shield to add instead of initial shield because basically bet will start without shield. And then when player buys it, then how much shield should be added, right? Okay. Then we need logic. Is shield enabled or not? And later I want is what with my this cursor. I used some shortcut. Now it's not working properly. So it will be variable instead of constant. So is shield enabled. So this is logic, and by default will be false. And last, editable. It will be our conditional button to buy shield. Then we want simple variables. It doesn't matter what value will be here because on when this bet, each bet will be initialized, we will take our initial health and set it to maximum health anyways. So this, whatever you will have here will be there. But just instead of 0, I will just use 100. Same for the shield. So variable, max, shield. Then we want current health because we want to know public. Do it or 100, yeah, fine, same. And same for the shield. And last few parameters, so it will be owner. We will use this optional, so it will be maybe owner player, question mark player, and false. And lastly, we want just ID, integer and 0. And actually I can add now, or we will do it later. So basically I want custom events. So then my main manager can listen to these events. And this will be 2 events, one for the damage of the bet and one for the shield. Because instead of running everything in this manager, because you can have 4 bets, you can have 10 bets, right? I don't like run everything directly in the manager. I like to run separately in each this class. So basically in a class instance, because how many bets you will have, it will be separate instance. So it means each instance will listen to each other, like not to each other, to its own, let's say, damage when it receives to calculate health and all that, instead of everything runs in one place in manager. Sometimes, especially, it helps with concurrency. It's basically like more stuff you have, better to have it separate in this. Okay, so that's why I will have bet damage event. I will send parameters like values for that, but I need to create them. That this will be like struct, so I will add them here later. Now it will be just empty event. And second one, it will be bet shield update event. So this will be like when we activating shield. So it will be event, and inside it will be tuple. And this tuple we will send integer, which will be our ID. Each bed will have separate ID. So it will be ID. So then manager knows which bed exactly. And then logic. So we will send that it's true or false, right? Okay, and same again. Event, tuple, int, float, logic. Okay, and we can create a function which we will call when on a begin play. So it will be initiate public. This is what we'll call our manager on the begin play. So it will be index int, and we can for now block it. Okay. So we've got all these variables which we need to use. Now, because we know our this class name, like type, so then we can create array of that. Now in here will be editable, teams bed, private array of bed data, and then array. And last thing, it will be our variable players UI. When we will display UI for each player, we want to store it somewhere so then we can access it later, especially when we will need to send information to refresh UI. Like for example, beds got damaged, now health dropped, yeah, progress bar dropped. Now everyone should get that update. So we need to get reference to this old UI so we can refresh them. So it will be private, then it will be map. So map key will be our player. And then in here, actually I need my custom class for UI, but I don't have it yet. Let's call it bed, and it will be map. It will show error for now, so then I will just comment it. To comment, you need to add this hashtag, but if you will on this line just click anywhere and then shortcut is control and this tilde, you can see you can comment on uncomment really quickly. So we will comment it, so then it doesn't show error for now. Then we can start working. So then on begin, actually let's maybe compile and see if everything is working. All that is working. We can actually see our this device. We can drop it here, and you can see now we have team beds. So this is our array and all this data, right? We have so our initial health, our shield to add later. So then shield enable disable. Then we have input for our conditional button, and we have our team color and bed itself, of course. So we will add them soon. But yeah, this is working, so it's great. Yeah, let's start with this, but soon we need to start creating this class with Batman UI. Otherwise, everywhere will be errors. So let's grab players from play space. So get play space. Yeah, play space. And get players in for loop player. And this is not same initiate what we created in here. It will be different. It will be here. It's separate function. initiate player bed, returning anything. Now in here, we want to get team collection. So this is again in play space. Get play space. Then we need teams. Basically, what I want, I could just grab, basically use player, because we're getting player array, and use player this index from that array and use it to assign to the bed. But they will shift always, right? Like if player left, then another came. What it's easier and more proper way, it's basically because we're dealing with the teams. So we will grab each team, each player team, and assign it. Like we can then take team ID, like index, and use it for the bed. Because team index will never change. Um, Teams always stay, right? So then if player left, this team is not available. But let's say like if player left from team 3 is still there, but it's not available because it's empty. If new player comes, he will be this assigned to team 3. Again, this team 3 will be available. So it's not shifting. And for example, with this players array, it will always go like each player will go like to last in array. So its array kind of like always will be shifting, like moving. It's cleaner way with teams. So now we have team collection, and we need get teams. Okay. Now we need to get team ID, because basically if you will hover over that, or this, actually I need to remove this error first. Yep. You see, basically it says array of team. It's not integer. It's not a value. Yeah, like it's just a team. So we need get actually that team index. So first we need to get player team. So it's again in team collection, get team. And it needs to be in if condition because as you can see, it's a square brackets, it's decide. And we input player. So this way we're getting player team, but it's again, it will give us team, not index, not like anything like what we can use directly. So now in here, we need team ID. Okay. Now we will get this index. So in teams, because we have now all teams and it's array, in teams, find, and then we need that player team like so. And that's it. Now you see, like if I will now hover over this one, it actually gives us integer, right? So integer we can use as an index. So that's why I like that. So first, again, like we're getting all teams, then we're getting player team, and then we're finding in all these teams what player team is indexed. And this is what we need. So now, because our this team's bed, it's array as well, and it will never change. So we can use that team index with team beds index. So it will be bed data, team ID. Now let's first set our player as an owner. Should we check if there is basically maybe owner player? Because each player should be in a separate team. So then by using team ID, it should never be like two players have the same team. If they do, there's something in island settings you need to tweak. So it will be our maybe owner player. And because it's optional, so we need option. And it will be our player. hides all the time. Let me try fix it. Finally fixed it. So it will be here. I need that data. So we need first this bed data to access this parameter, this variable. So we're setting our layer owner. Now we can, let's subscribe for the damage. So we have these two events. We can actually close that. So we have these two events, custom events, but damage and shield update. So we can subscribe for that now. We need spawn. So they always will wait. That's when we need spawn. And will be await, bet, damage, and wait, bet, damage, yep, totally fine. And it will be bet data. And second one straight away will be spawn, await, bet, build, update. Don't add event because it's already a long name. And again, let's copy that name. And here below, we can create that function. It will be private. Then we need this bet data. Here we need suspense. And will be looping. Then we have damaged, bet, bats. Then we have our bet damage event. So this is the name of this, yeah, bet damage event, and then there will be the shield as well. So event, then dot, oh wait, like so. So right now, again, this bet damage event, it's empty. So that's why it won't give me any stats. It will be just empty, but I need to add these stats. And so how it will work. So when I will call from here, this, and it's for each bet we will initialize, it will loop forever, right? Until you will stop game, and it will wait. So it will start and it will wait on this. When this event will be triggered, like signaled, then it will go and execute whatever code you will have for rest. Then when it will execute, it goes back because it's a loop, and it again will stop on this and wait. So it's like infinitely waiting for this damage. So in here we can do for layer will be our UI, which we commented. So yeah, that's why I said like I need to start doing that. Layers UI, like so. And let's for now comment that. So we know that we need to continue here. We can even add to do. Now let's add this shield. Let's copy that. So again, this is private. That again suspense, again loop, and here will be that ID and is shield. Again, to make it shorter, I had like is shield enabled. You can add enabled word, and again it will be data, and then we can actually copy that. So and wait. Now we know that we're sending this bet ID, and we're sending logic, yeah, true or false. So we need to separate that. So it will be bet ID. Let's copy this like so, and here will be 0 in like that. So it will be 0. So because we're sending tuple, so it's basically tuple is like a group, right? And with this, and because it's not array, you don't need square brackets, you don't need if conditional. And then you need to specify in this group in order, right? So as you can see, this is your order. So this int, yeah, this is 0 because we're starting always with 0. Logic, it's second, so it's basically 1. If there will be like something more, it will be like 2 or 3, right? So this is basically like a group. So that's why we're splitting them. So we have bet ID, and now we can have is shield enabled, and it will be 1. That's it. So we split that. So now we have bet ID and this one separate. We have that. Then we can do if data. I can't call it bet data because like we have already here. They will conflict. So teams bet ID. Yep. So now we know, yeah, like we can access that based on bet ID. And this will be, again, we need to refresh our UI, which we don't have yet. So player UI in players UI. So, and let's comment it. So now it's a good, actually, yeah, it's good thing to start doing UI class. But here, do not forget, let's add last things. So the data. So we need to initialize our bets. Initiate, and it will be team ID. And there will be another function. It will be rebuild all players UI. Basically, we need to refresh, but we can't, like, we can refresh when we, for example, updating values. But this is when player adds, yeah, like new player came or maybe leaves. We need to rebuild the whole thing because like we can't like we can remove or add new, totally new UI by refreshing. Yeah, if that makes sense. Basically, you need to totally rebuild. So you need to remove what you have and build new one for everyone. So it will be private. Don't need get anything. It will be void. This for all players. So it will be players. We need remove first. Yeah. So we can call it. So it will be if old UI players UI player. Again, we're using player, like in that map, we're using player as a key. And it will be old UI. And again, I need to comment that because we don't have this UI. Yeah, let's create, let's start working on UI. And then last thing what we need in here, it's on the begin, we need basically we need to subscribe for player added, so when new player joins, and when player will be removed, so basically when player leaves. Okay, we actually can add it here and comment, so then I won't forget. So it will be get play space, get play space, then player added event init. I used full name, full board. Yep, like that. So on this one, it will call. So that's why, like in here, we doing same thing for the players who are already in game and same for players who will join. So we don't need to do anything extra. But then for the remove, it will be extra. So get space player event type player, and I will comment it. Okay, so now let's do, actually before that, we have one thing to add. So we have this event empty. So let's create struct for that. So then we can pass it. Because then again, in UI, we will need that. And as you can see, I'm not using variables editable, and we don't need initialize. So this is what means initialize. You see, I just specifying it's integer, but then I'm not doing, let's say, like this. Finally, I found a shortcut. What was making that cursor wrong? Okay, so for example, I'm not doing this, right? It's not error I could do, but I don't need to. And then I need normalized parameters. And let's add node. Normalized means between 0 and 1 always. Why I need that? It's basically then I will send it to my material, which requires 0 to 1. So instead of doing some calculations in UI or material, which is even worse, we can do it here, which is more efficient. Just in case, I will call them all normalized instead of just by like, this is old hills, this is new hills, right? I will call it normalized. You may leave it without normalized, but this is basically so it's understandable what it is. That I don't want to type it every single time. So this will be new health. And last one. So this is pretty much like I will do all these calculations in this bed data, right? Then I will just pass what health was before or shield and what's new. So then we can display this red animation here for the damage and rest stuff. So instead of doing this again in material or UI. So now we have this. So then I can just copy that, but stats, and then in this damage, and just paste it here and like so. And that's it. So now where we had our damage event, right? So now it's actually will receive damage bed stats. So instead of like sending this as a tuple, right? Like for example, in here, like integer and logic. So I would need to send all these 5 variables. Now we can just send only one, which includes that. That's totally cool. And that's it. Yep. So we have that. We don't need anything in here. Let's jump to UI. So for before starting main UI, how it will work, it's basically same as I showed in the widget. So first in the widget, we created this bed UI with all this progress bar, right, and icon. And then we had main UI where we just added each one separately in another stack box. So this is basically called like a slotting, right? So you can create pre-make already for different slots, and then you can just like duplicate them. So let's do this. So bed UI slot. So this will be can actually create that main one. So main one will be bed main UI. And I will leave it like that. So we have now to this. Can I even uncomment that? Yeah. So you see, because I have now this class, all that it's fine. This is fine. Fine. Function is still not existing, so that's why it's error. Yeah. So you can see like we now can add more and more like on comment. But again, let's now work in slot. So in slot, what we will have is our bet icon, public, block. Then we need um, UI, yeah, UI. And if hover over that, it basically says like object archetype must initialize data member default image. So we need specify default image. Default image be our this name and paste here. And I want size as well. So default desired size vector 2 because it's only 2v or xy. So x over that we need spatial math. So now this 60, let's go back here in bet UI. Let's click on this bet and you can see this image size x, y, 60, 60. So this is what we're taking. Okay, great. Now, if we hover over that, it basically says like we need specify orientation. Orientation. Now we need materials. So health mat. It will be now our name of the health and shield. So it was simple. Mi. Sometimes, yeah, so I'm not sure why sometimes it's happening. So in some projects, when it generates this in assets, yeah, in assets digest, it generates just material name without this suffix material, right? And sometimes it generates that. So that's why, like, if, for example, I'm saying you need to specify now this suffix material, and in your case, it will show error, try without, right? Um, I'm not very familiar why it's happening. Like, so, see, like, now here as well. And same for the shield. And we can actually, just in case, because maybe you did something with inside of the editor with material, these parameters, and you forgot it, right? Just to be sure, so when we start in game, we can specify values for some parameters or all parameters. But let's say like I want that progress bar always will be filled when we're starting. And for example, for the health, we'll say show progress on 1 0. Yeah, so 1. And let's copy that. And for the shield, because we don't want to show it at the beginning, we'll say 0, like so. Again, if you want to show shield on the beginning, then you need to set it to 1. Yeah, we can now do init slot. And in here we want color and is local. Basically, like if we will create this way, let's go back here. As you can see, all of them will have same size, just little different color, player, and even based on the team arrangement probably. But local player will have like we basically will struggle to understand which bet it's actually his or her, right? What we will do actually in the code, we will check if this slot which we're creating now, it's for local player. So local, it's basically who controls this character on the screen. And rest players, they're like online players, right? So if this is player, it's is this slot, this bet is for local player, then we will just make it slightly bigger. right? And we will put it on the top always. And then rest players will be on the bottom. So this is basically difference. I didn't do this in the widget. I don't need that, but basically we will do it here. So that's why like when we will initialize slot, we will check and we'll send that here. So icon size, vector 2, and we will do if. So we can do all that in one line instead of like going down. It will look cleaner, more readable. So is local player slot, then the 2. So instead of 60, as you remember, so here was 60, we will create, as I said, like slightly bigger, so it will be 70. And y 70. I actually don't even need this then, right? Because we're overwriting that anyways, but yeah, it's good to have. So that's it. Yeah. So pretty much like our icon size will be different based on this logic, if it's true or false. And pretty much like with some other stuff, it's the same. So will be health bar size, maybe even copy all that faster. So we just need to change, of course, our values. So in here will be 300, in Y will be 26. And if it's false, so it will be 260, and this is health. Yeah, so 260 and 23. Okay. Now build bar site. Paste that again. So length will be same, 300 and 260, but its height will be different. So it will be 12, 10. Then we can take that icon and do set tint, and will be color. So again, from main UI, when we will send this call to initialize this slot, we will send color together. So that's why like each bed color, like each bed icon will have different color. Then we have progress widget. It's same stack box as we created in root widget. Root widget will hold everything, and this is just for this shield and health. Now let's create material blocks. So this is materials, yeah? We can still access them. We need material block. So let's call it M health, because we can't use same name. And will be material block, material block. And if we hover that, it says like we need a default image. So basically we need to initialize with default image. And default image, it's actually not image at all. It's actually our material. So because this is health, so it will be health. And yeah, and let's set default desired size will be our this health bar size. And pretty much same for the shield. So this will be, instead of health, will be shield. Shield. Progress widget. Widget. Normal brackets. Now it will be stack box widget. Because our shield is above health, so we need first add shield. Basically, we're not adding material, we're adding now material block. Okay, so this is our widget. So M shield, then we need our padding. So in here, you can see we have everything almost 0. It's only on the top we have 8. And the health will be 7. So padding and I think is good to have this alignment. Yeah, we used this center instead of this fill. So let's specify that as well. Horizontal alignment. Okay, we can copy that because it's pretty much same for the health. It's just again here we need health. On top, as we already checked, it's 7. The rest is same. Now we can add everything into root widget. Widget, add widget, tag box, plot, jet. So first will be our this bet icon, and then it will be our this progress widget with both my progress bars. So it will be actually a lot of same. So let's just copy all that. Here it needs to be that icon. Our icon. So we have on the left 10 and then fill in here. I think like maybe I don't even need to specify in this alignment, but just in case. Yeah, first this left, and we have 10. Yep, instead of center, we need fill. And here, and I don't need that. I have that. And we can copy all that thing. And here will be actually our this progress widget. Progress widget, padding, this padding again, left, and again fill. So on the left hand, and fill. Like, yep, that's totally perfect. Cool. And we've done adding all that. So this pretty much function will create all that this UI with bet icon and progress bars for just one, of course, player. And we will call function here, but I will just name it, but then we will add functionality later. So update stats. It will be public. And then we need bet stats and bet stats. That's why we needed to create that struct now. And it will be suspense, void, and for now, let's just block it. And why I have error? Oh, actually, always watch your indents. Yeah, so this is pretty much like part of still in its slot, but it's actually not. Yeah, like that, because this is separate function. Okay, so we have that. Cool. We're ready. And now we can jump into our main UI, this one, where we need, let's call it my player. Or actually, let's call it maybe a player, because this is optional. And this will be our main canvas. It's as well optional. This is where our slots will be. map, so integer, and it will be bed UI and create play UI player plus all beds, then we can have information directly. Set maybe player to option background widget. So instead of creating it here, we can just create it there because we don't need it any longer, just once. So for stack box, we always need to specify orientation. So background widget, what means it's basically where we're adding this just black color. So it's like background. Our main widget will be our box station. Okay. Now variable, maybe local player ID, or so that's why we sending all that, so we can always compare here what we need. Now if owner player, so because it's optional, even if we set player in there, it still will be optional. So we need always get from there, and by getting it basically means like we need to get this by adding this question mark, and it will give us player owner player. So what we're doing here, so from each bet, yeah, because it's on for loop, goes through all bets, it will check, yeah. So we're getting this owner player of each bet, and then we're comparing. And this player is actually for who we're creating this UI. Then we're comparing if they are both same. If it's same, it means we found local player bet, and basically we can create this local slot. Set maybe local player bet ID. So let's comment this first if it exists. So we will need to run it twice. Yep. So it will be if bet ID that getting that first we need let's in here, and so it will be bet data get normalized stats. So remember that struct, yeah, with normalized variables, and we do it like that. So it will show error because we don't have that, and we need add this in our bet data. In the bet data, we're not even initializing yet, right? So we're not doing much in here. So let's do this. Let's just add this get normalized bet stats, old health, then new, actually no, not new, we will get new, so it will be old shield out. Then we need damage amount, then it will be our bet stats. Now in here, so yeah, I won't name them normalized, but you got a point. So this all will be like normalized, so it will be old health, will be float, will be old divided by max health, and we will check that it's bigger or equal to 0 or 0. Okay, and oh no, actually this, yeah, I have already old health. Oh yeah, I have even old health here. Yeah, let's call it normalized. Okay, now it will be fine. We can add so to remove this error, I can add return, and I still need to create bad start, but yeah, whatever. Let's do this now first. So it will be normalized. Let's copy that normalized. It will be shield, alt shield. Yeah, as well, alt shield and maximum shield. In reality, I don't even need to check if it's bigger than 0 or 0, because no matter what value we have here, even if this old shield would have 0.00001 and you divide it by, let's say, 1000, you will never still have like negative. Yeah, but just in case. And now this one will be our new health, and this will be new shield. So here I need shield, and here I need current health and maximum health, and that's fine. And then here current shield, maximum shield. That's done. Now we can create our this bed stats. Okay, and now we can do this ID. Yeah, it will be our this ID. Pretty much, I need all that. I have all that because it's the same name. I can do that. Let me see, just order. So old health, new health, old shield, new shield. Okay, because here we have, yeah, old health. Yeah, so we need new health, and we need old shield, and finally new shield, like so. And that's it, no errors anymore. Okay, we can come here. Yeah, so basically in that bed we're calling that information, but instead of sending any old, yeah, health, we actually sending current health in both. Why is that? Because basically we're just creating this, which means that have full health, everything. And then you saw that there is input for the damage, but I'm just using 0 for that because we're not sending damage. This function will be used in the damage as well, so that's why I have damage in there. But for now, it's certainly fine. Okay, so let's now continue with this. So we've got that normalized parameters. Now new slot. That basically we create a new slot. Now new slot, init slot, and we need to send that bed stats. Oh no, not bed stats in this one. It was color, and is it local player? Okay, so color will be our, it's in the bed here, so it's bed data, but this is local player, so this is true. And then phone, this will be straight away like a new slot, which we don't have yet. And bed stats, actually we have, oh yeah, we created, but there is no logic in there. Okay, so we have this. Now main widget, add widget, plot. So that's why like we creating this slots, yeah, like in here. So then it's much manageable and easy to see in the main UI. We're just adding this root widget because everything was already added to this root widget, all these progress bars and icons. So that's it. So simple. That's done. And what we need is our background. So background will be color. Then default color will be named. You can specify by RGB, of course. I will just use named colors, and it will be black. And colors, yeah, named colors, black. And then we need opacity. So default city 0.5, and let's add size as well. 2 x 100. It's again, it's bigger, right, for the local player. Now, when we created that, we need to add it. So we have separate this tag box with a background widget name. It and stack box slot widget Albert ID. So basically, we're adding this to our widget and we storing it in this our bed UI slots map. And that's it. So this is will work already for local player. Now, command this. Now will be again. Some stuff will be, yeah, I will be reusing from this, but now first we need to do this check again, logic. So ID, data, all bets, data. So as you can see in here, I'm just calling this, but I'm not actually receiving because I don't need this player. What I'm doing, I'm just checking if it's false or not. If it's false, we're not creating that UI for that bet. It means that bet it's not used by any team, any player. So this is just checkup. Then is local bet check local bet ID. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I don't need that. So basically, we're just like checking again, yeah, because we're going through the loop, yeah, of all, but in there somewhere is this, yeah, like local player bet, but we already created that for the local player. We need to skip, so that's why we're checking again. It's like is local, right? So we're checking, so it's true or false, and now in here we're just doing this. So if not is local bet. So by this, with question mark, we're checking if this logic if is true. But when we're adding not, we're then checking when it's not true because we don't need it to be true. So then we will skip it. And now it's pretty much all of this. So we have bet, new slot, then we have a slot initialization, we have update slot, we're adding widget background. That's, yeah, pretty much all of that. But for the background, we need to change size, of course. We can copy everything in here. Let's see this wrong. We need to put it here. Okay. Okay. So we just need to update a little bit. So let's check. This fine. This fine. This fine. This will be 350, and this will be 60. Then in here, ID plot, and that's it. And now, final thing, we just need to add canvas. So we created this, but player wouldn't see it. Okay, so now we'll be after our this for loop canvas quotes array, and we need to add only two, and this will be our background widget and main widget. So we need anchors vector 2. This is in this main, right? So basically we're adding this stack box and this stack box. And if you click on this stack box, you see this alignment. It's 1 and 0.5. This is what we need. And this is now what I'm doing, right? So for the anchors, I'm doing minimum and maximum and 1, 0, 5, 0, 1, 0, 5 again. Okay, so this is minimum, and we can pretty much copy same for the maximum. Shows error because basically asks widget, but we can add widget. I want it to be last, but it will be error gone. Now let's add offset. Gene. So this is our background. We have only on the Y, so it's top 150. Like so. Ties to content. This is important. Must be true. And last one, the order. The order basically dictates what's rendered last, basically in what order. So 0, it means first, and because it's background, we want it to be first, and then everything else will be on top of it. And that's it. So we're done with this, and we can copy all of that. I don't want to type it twice. And oh, actually, not only that, but with canvas slot name. Like this. So now, our main widget. Okay, this is totally fine. Now in here, minus 150, but I want left as well. And then 1, 0.5, true. And here will be 1. And that's it. Now we finished with this. So that's why you see like it's really clean because we just like, we created everything, we prepared everything. And then just these two things controls whole UI. And yeah, now we have main canvas. Option. If play UI. That's it now with this one. So we're getting this play UI. This is not created by us. It's basically like just like verse stuff. So we're getting that play UI, and then we're telling add this widget or this main canvas to this play UI. Basically, add it to the screen. And while we're here, let's add final pieces here. So then this whole class will be finished. So it's refresh pet UI public pet ads if we basically will call each slot on slot. So we basically will call on each slot this to update. So if there will be damage or shield, right? Crash I will have separate functionality for that. So we need to create this update shield yet. And finally, remove player UI. We're getting owner of this UI. So basically, we first, because we have stored, for this main UI, our owner. So we're getting that owner player. Then, because we're storing canvas as well, so we're getting that canvas. And then we're getting again, so this is again not ours, so this is Fortnite, this verse stuff. So this is player screen. Yeah, so we're getting that player screen, and then we're calling remove widget, and we're passing that canvas. That's it. So it will be removed. Okay, let's create this one. Final update shield. Final for this UI, but not final in the code. Sorry. Um, update shield. Update shield. So update stats, and have update shield. Public enabled logic and void. So if true, set shield material. Remember, we have them shield and health material here. This is basically how you control these material parameters. So set shield material and show progress. So this is our that parameter to control show or hide progress bar. So if it's true, we set it to 1. And just in case, set shield mat progress 1. We will set this shield to 1 as well when we're enabling it. If you don't want to start with a 1, yes, to full shield, maybe then you can set another value. Else, and else it would be like when shield is false, then set mat show progress to 0. That's it. Don't have any error here. Okay. Now we need to do some logic in our damage and damage and initialization. It's empty yet. Yeah. So let's do this. So set ID to index, then set max health to initial health. Basically this one. Now set max health, add. Now because we set it max health set as initial health, I could just use max health. It doesn't matter because they have now same value when we initializing them. Now if is shield enabled, then we have bad set max health else set max because it's the same. And now bad set health, or it could be like current health because again this is initialization, so all these variables will be same. Okay, and now bad damaged event on bed. We're on damaged. And it will be damage result. Let's continue here. Game. Continue. Now we need to subscribe to our this conditional button. So shield on button activated event shield button. However, that it gives us agent. Don't need it, but we must to receive it. Continue there. Finally, by default, we'll set that bed is basically invisible. Now, owner there. Because here, when we initializing our player, we setting here our owner, this player. And only then we're doing this initializing bed itself, right? This calling this function. This means play already should be there. So we're just checking, double checking that is there. So then we're showing bed. Okay. Now, bed damage. It will be new total health. If control click in here, so we can see it. So our objective device can give us health, can give us maximum health, set maximum health, damage events, heal, this kind of stuff, show height, destroy. But as you can see, we don't have shield in here. It's only health. And that's what we need to do. So we need to calculate shield separately. Custom. So it will be damage amount. That's why we're calling it total health. Because when we're getting, basically how it will work. So we have, let's say, 100 health, and we saying we have 100 shield. Pretty much what we will do inside of the device, we will just set maximum health on the 200. So device will think that it's health, but player will see it as a shield and health. So, but in total, it will be health, right? So damage amount, damage result, amount, capital A. Health. So we just separating current health and old health. So like now we assigning current health and current shield into old, because now we will update current. So current will be now with a new value. That's where we need old as well. So then we can compare. So old shield. If we need to calculate new shield value. So new shield will be new total health minus current health. Okay. So again, like our current health, it's a normal health, which we see, right? And then we have shield. But total health, it's including both and shield and health. So when we, let's say like if we have, let's say 150 total health, but then current health is 100. So when we subtracting, we know that new shield is 50. So if, for example, was damage, maybe now damage was 20, but we still can see that it's not taking from the current, but it's taking from the shield, if that makes sense. Now we need to check if our new shield it's actually above or equal 0. because let's say maybe total health was 120, yeah, and damage maybe was 40. So it means it should take all shield and plus 20 from the shield. No, from the not shield, but from the health. So if shield is below, yeah, so below 0, because it's again, if we're taking new health and subtracting that, new shield could be like with a minus now. So we're just setting it to 0, not allowing to go below. Now else and else. So basically here, oh yeah, here we checking I know my mistake, sorry, it's not 0 in here. So here will be new shield. Here we're checking when our shield is still above 1, right, above 0. And if it's not, it means now it's below. So now we need do this. So set current shield to 0, then set is shield enabled to false because there's no shield. So, and then we need to set our current health to new total. And then in here, because we're checking here on top if shield was enabled. Yeah, so we're doing all this if shield was enabled. And what if not? Then we're doing here else set current health to new total health. And just in case, set current shield to 0. Okay, and now here we will do that stats because we need to refresh our UI. This is just internal calculation. So embed stats get normalized, okay, and it will be old health. That's why we created this, yeah, because now current health is updated, but we still have old health before update what it was. So old health, old shield, and damage amount. So we're getting our bad stats, and now bad damaged event, we can signal it. We can signal, and we can send this bad stats. But let's add D in here, and let's add D in here as well. So we're now sending this now manager in there because from each bed class, we're not controlling UI, right? That would be too much. So we just calculating each bed's stats here, but then we calling this our custom event, and we're sending bed stats, like new stats. And then our manager then controls all this UI. And when manager receives this bed, yeah, like event, it calls this to refresh all this UI. Actually, need not to forget add here, last piece. Okay, so we signaled and we've done here. And now on shield button activated. So if shield was disabled, and because this is button activation, so it means someone bought it. Yeah, right. Like player paid for that. So now we copy that, set this to true, and set current shield to max. So again, just in case if there is some mismatches with shield amount. So when we're enabling it, it will be 100%. Now we can add even comment here. Increase device Yeah, so this, as I said, like, because device only supports health, we just need to increase by the shield amount, that maximum health. So now will be new max current health. Why we need this new current? Because when you enabling shield, maybe you have 70, right, or 20 health, yeah, and then you're adding now 100 of the shield. We need to know what will be bad. Set health first. Current health. And now we need to signal event this one again, so we can refresh UI. We need to signal our ID and our logic is shield enabled. And that's it. So that would work. And let's, as the final, add remove bed. The player leaves. And then bed hide. What I noticed as well, like when I'm healing, it doesn't matter when I'm manually setting health. Yeah, I could just use this command, set health. So or health or heal or set and then the height. If bed was damaged, there still will be the effect of smoke, right? So yeah, that looks like maybe like a glitch. Yeah, we've done in here. Let's now finish with this, and then we have last part in UI slot. So we need in here, we need to add this player removed. And actually, for doing this, let's finish with this UI. So on avoid bed damage event, we going through all this UI, and now we just need UI refresh bed UI and the damaged bed stats, and that's it. And then in here, we need similar thing with shield. So we have for player UI players UI, then we need UI refresh bed field ID field, and we've done here as well with refresh. Now rebuild all players. This we need as well. So we have already that function there, so that's why there's no error. And it's again old UI. We're removing UI. Cool. Then after that, we need new UI and bed UI. Yeah, so we're creating that bed new UI. New UI. Create player. Sending player. Teams bed. Now, what we need to do, we need to update our map. So we'll be set players UI player as a key, and it will be new UI. If we had this UI basically in there in the map, it will be overwritten, right? So we don't need basically go through the whole process because it's not so easy. You can just like run one function, for example, remove, right? So then you would need to go remove all of that and set new, but it's actually because we're not removing player, we're just overwriting UI. So when we're setting, it will overwrite. Totally fine. And yeah, that's done. Now let's do on player removed. So we need that function. Yeah. Player removed. and it will be player. Maybe call it moved player, because we will need to compare if y player y player ui. So when player leaves, we will just remove that. Um, player owner player. Basically, we need to find which bed was assigned for this player, and then bed data, maybe owner player, and let's set it to false. So basically, we're removing ownership. Next time when we will check, it will be like false. So then we know that another player can use it, and it will be removed from UI. Remove bed. Yeah, and we remove that bed so it will be invisible. Are new players UI player, and this will be bed. So now this is basically process when we're removing something from the map, and now we need to remove player from our this player's UI map. Now for player, it's our key, and player UI in layers UI player is not equal to removed player. Yeah. So we created this new map, and we're going through now existing map, and we're checking if player is not the same who left. Basically, we will add that to the new map. If he is, we will basically skip. So that will be option set new players. Now, when we're done, set players UI. Basically, we will overwrite it with our new players UI. Then we need to call rebuild all players UI. Yep, that's why we had this. If player left, we need to remove it from all players UI. Let me check. So have this analyzing player bet, awaiting damage, awaiting shield update, rebuilding players UI, and then one player removed. I think that's it. So we have structure. Then we in the bets we have we initiation our bets. Then on the damage, on the shield update, we're getting normalized bet stats. On shield update, yeah, and removed. Okay, so yeah, last piece. Now it's really last. It's a lot of code, but it's last. So we have main UI now in here. So this part we need to update our stats. Yep. So and in here we need like a little bit with animation, right? So first we need to get damage to health. So bet stats. So we know again, we know old, we know new. So by subtracting, we know damage. Same pretty much for the shields. You can just copy that. The normalized old and new. So we've got that. Now, if damage to health is smaller or equal to 0, and damage to shield it's as well smaller or equal to 0. What that means, if you remember, here when we're creating first time, we're sending 0 damage, right? And this means that we're just basically creating new UI and there is no damage. We don't need to refresh anything. So it means set health at bed stats that's 0. This is basically like when we're initializing, we won't reset everything. Just again in case. We're doing this in a few places, but this is like a precaution that definitely will work. Now, if let's grab this shield, we will check if shield is enabled or not. So if bed stats normalized new shield is more than 0, bed stats, and it's not new shield but will be old shield, and 0, then set shield mat go press 1. Now that's done, and else. So this was with no damage. Yeah, so we're initializing all this from initial. But now we will calculate now if we really have got damage. So set build mat damage to build. Remember, we have this parameter in the material damage, which we need to set. And now we have both in health and shield. Now at progress to bed. That's I have it saved. No, normalized. Well, why are we setting it? If we already subtracted, we would have this progress on the correct way. But it's again, it's a precaution that our old health correspond exactly same to the material progress, right? So we're just making sure that it's same. Same for the shield. Okay. Now, if now we need to start animation. So animation duration, I will set it to really small because it still won't work really properly if you have really like high fire rate in a weapon. Let's say it shoots like really, really fast and you set animation to 0.5, right? Like when this animation playing, you already received more damage and that will totally won't work like properly. So that's why like with this 0.1, it still will be visible enough, look nice, at the same time it's fast. So start time. We will use get simulation elapsed time. This get simulation elapsed time is basically when game started, it counts. It's from the beginning of the game. So now this time it will be time before we starting loop. Now in the loop, we will then get this simulation time each time, but then we will see difference between current simulation time and start simulation time, and it will be different because loop, like each loop, it will be like more and more seconds or milliseconds. So it will be elapsed time. Again, we can copy that long name, get simulation time minus start time. Actually, at the end, I can add sleep, so then this error will disappear. Our alpha time divided by animation duration, 0 and 1. So it will be clamped, right, between 0 and 1. And now animated will progress. And same will be for the shield. We will use lerp damage to health. No, not this one. That will be a little bit later. This will be bad stats. So basically, we will, in the loop, we will transition in the lerp between old health into the new health, right? So let's say if old health was 100, and then we get 20 damage, then new health will be 80. So it means it will transition to 80. And this pretty much same for the shield. So animated that. Now we need, remaining health, damage to health, 0. So as I said before, when we have this damage, so when we're setting damage, let's say to not 20, 0.2, we have this, right? But now if I will start now lowering this progress to 0.8, you see damage, it still stays, but then we have this portion removed. That's why when we reducing progress, we actually need to reduce this damage, and when damage will be 0, see, it will be that. This is pretty much what we're doing. So when we're animating health, progress bar, and shield, we animating damage as well. We can actually copy that. It will be remaining damage visual and damage to shield. Now will be set shield mat progress with capital P, animated health, and same for the shield. Set shield mat. Okay. Now if alpha is bigger or equal to 1, just break this loop, and that's it. So in this, we're done. And then just as a precaution, we will, you see, like here we set everything as precaution as a alt. Here, after all that, and we can set, but instead of old, now it should be new. So it will be that. Then set shield mat damage 0. It must be 0, and set shield mat damage to 0. Now, final thing, if that's new shield smaller or equal to 0, then set shield mat progress 0. We're basically hiding shield if again it's 0. And that's it. Okay, let's now compile all that. Save first code, 3 of them. First one, let's say blue. That's fine. Then maybe red and green. Okay. Now let's add beds. So in objective device, let's set it to bed. In game, we will disable that. So again, when player will be assigned, we will make it visible. So it's 100, then owner. Yeah, we can set teams already. All that you can set if you want. Audio. And now we have 3 of them. That, then this will be, keep in mind, in verse, we have a team index starting with 0. In editor, it's actually starts with 1. Yes, we have our bed. Now we need conditional button. So our interaction, the item will be gold. The item so you can set team. So now let's say of this one, team will be 2. That's it. So have this. And let's add just weapon and gold. It's done. I will launch now and test. Or actually, let's wait. I haven't checked games. Yeah, cooperation. So that wouldn't work. So we need team index or free for all. I think maybe would work. But team index fine. So I will set it to 5. Again, it starts with a 1, not 0. Even 2. Yeah, because it's for 2 teams. But yeah, 5 players doesn't matter. Split evenly. Totally fine. Okay. So now it should work. I will launch. I will test. So let's start. I have 2 players in here. And as you can see, mine, this bed, it's on the top. And I'm second in team 2. So if I will purchase now, you see it's added shield to my bed. And smaller, it's for another player. And another player have opposite. So now let's do that. And you can see on my screen, shield is well updated. Same as on another player. I will just grab weapon. And you can see that red, yeah, damage going on. Just like that. And now let's me grab it. Like so. And if another player will leave a game, now it's just my UI left. And same would be if another player joins us, so then this bet would be added there. So it works totally fine, perfectly. Yeah, it's pretty long video, and I hope you will enjoy it. It adds a lot. As a recap, what we learned, yeah. So basically, we created simple material which supports this showing damage, and then we learned how to use materials in Verse UI, then how to organize Verse UI. So basically have one class for the slot, another basically main UI, and it's clean and readable. Then how to add shield to objective device, which just have health, but in here, as you can see, we have shield as well. So we have that functionality as well. And as you saw that health is not dropping until shield depleted. So when I'm doing damage, when shield's gone, then only health then it will be reduced as well. So all that is working, and again, it doesn't need to be bad, it could be something else, but this is pretty much how you do all this. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you will learn a lot from it. Have fun. I would like to say thank you to my all supporters. I appreciate your support. Thank you for your generosity. You can get project files on my Patreon or just buy me a coffee to support me. If you're interested in learning more about UEFN materials, coding, widget UI, and more, you can join our growing Discord community where we like to discuss UEFN tips and tricks, showcase our work, and help each other. You can find link in the description or in the channel header.